Hi, it's Christopher Dean and welcome to part 13 of a tutorial series where we build a design system in Sketch. This time, we're doing the accordion. Okay, let's take a look at what we're doing. We've got an accordion here with 4 sections. There is some content that can open and close, and that automatically collapses because of the Anima plugin. Autolayout has a stacks function that allows us to do that. See that happening again. So let's go over to here, change the icon to an up icon, turn on that content, and there we go. We've got an accordion that does exactly what it's supposed to do, open and close. If you have less text, you can take some off, turn on your guide, resize this, and see it snap into place. Okay, fantastic. Let's jump into Abstract and start a new branch. And here we are in the Overview tab of Abstract. We're going to go over to New Branch, enter Accordion. Once that's done, we're going to go to Edit and Sketch up here on the right. Inside Sketch, we're going to go to the Symbols page. Let's just zoom out a little. And we've got the Tabs and Tables artboard that we used last time. Let's zoom out again and duplicate it and drag it over. Place it at 10,000 by 2,000. We're going to place it at the top of the stack over here in the Layers panel. Change its name to Accordion. Copy Accordion. Paste that in there. I'm also going to put it here because we don't know what other elements we're going to stick in this artboard. It's probably going to get renamed later on to something like UI or component. But we don't know that yet, so let's continue. And we need our first accordion item. So let's go over to Table cell left, hold down Option and Shift and drag it to duplicate it. Zoom out, move it into place. Select it and rename it accordion / accordion item with a capital I. Move it above the artboard we just made. Open it and draw a rectangle inside it. Make sure the rectangle is colored white. Move that below the label and delete the cell folder. Rename that rectangle BG for background. Grab the whole thing and resize it to 688. Let's just turn up our guides so we can see what we're doing. With the label selected, we're going to drop in icon 24, icon arrow D. For down, move it over here. We can change the grid settings for a symbol. Let's move it 16 pixels away from the right-hand side. There you go. We're going to grab that label and move that 16 pixels away from the icon. Let's make sure its resize is set to left and right with fixed height. Yep. And the icon's going to be resized at the right with fixed width and fixed height. With that done, we need a border at the top and bottom that we can turn off and on when we want. So we're going to have to make a symbol of a line. Let's grab the line tool, just click and drag it out, change it to shape, line light gray 1 pixel, center. Okay, let's make sure it's moved to where it should be on top of the background layer. Let's move it into place. Make sure it's 688 wide. Put it in a group and rename that group border HORZ for horizontal. Let's turn it into a symbol. Zoom out. Let's grab it and bring it in. Let's turn the grid on for our artboard so we can place it nicely. Okay, and you can already see that it's now 3 pixels high. We want to change this to 1. And we want to zoom in really close, select the line, and change this to 0.5 on both sides. Okay, but you can see that little round corner. We don't want that, we want a butt cap. So let's go over to the cog and the border, change it to butt and change this to butt join. It's starting to sound really weird and it started raining. Let's try and drown it out. We're doing this. Okay, did that help? Let's see. A little bit. Let's keep going. Okay, so that's fixed the line, but we need to create a new style for this. So let's go drop this down, go create new layer style, put a / in front of center and then BUTT. Pretty funny. Let's go check the other side. Okay, this all looks good. Let's zoom back out. Go back up to our accordion item. Right click on that symbol and set to original size. Change the position on Y to 0 and it's ready to go. But we're going to name this border top. Then we're going to duplicate it, move it to the bottom, place it at the bottom and call this border bottom. Okay, let's turn off all of our guides. Okay, we're going to duplicate this. Let's turn on our guides again. Let's move this underneath this one. Change its name to accordion content. Get rid of the border on the top and the bottom. Change this to content. And also delete the arrow. Let's give it some height, something like 144. Okay, and you saw the text zoom down there. Let's resize that to the top, move it back into place. Zoom back out, move border up. Turn up our guides. The last thing we're going to do is change label to H4. Let's select it. Go over to DT, H4 black left. And that's it. We're ready to make an accordion. So let's go back into the artboards and grid. Zoom in. These were left over from last time. I'm just going to delete them. turn on our grids, drop in accordion item. Let's place it around there. We're going to duplicate it 3 more times, but place these underneath. Let's group them now and call this folder accordion. Move each one of them down so it's below the next one. Select the folder and go over to the auto layout plugin and select create a stacked group. Okay, when you do that, you've got this collapsing checkbox. Let's turn it off, select one of them, turn that off, you end up with a gap. Let's turn that back on, turn collapsing back on, go over here, turn one of them off, just disappears. The other one just goes to the top. Let's select the folder again, make sure left is selected, so for vertical that'll be aligning it to the top. And with this one, we're going to drop in accordion content. Let's see if it snaps into place. Oh, it's gone over to the top. Let's move this one to the top. Okay, there you go. Let's move our accordion back to where it was. Let's duplicate this. Duplicate it again. Move it in between the 2 bottom ones. Move this up. Duplicate it again and move that to the bottom. Let's scroll down and place this one right at the bottom. Okay, so we've got 4 sections and 4 content regions. This is jumping around a little bit, and it can do that, so don't worry about it. We're going to go and grab the startup ipsum that I used to fill in the first one. Okay, just copy all of this. I'm going to add this file to the description of this video so you can use it. Go over to here and in its override, paste it. Let's do that for the other 3. Okay, it looks like their heights can change, so let's take a bit off. 120. That'll do. Okay, let's turn the bottom 3 off. Turn off our grids and our guides. Zoom in so we can see what we're doing. Change the label to section 1. Copy it. Paste it into the others. Then change them to 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and you can see that we've got double lines. So we only want to keep the top one on these ones. Let's turn off bottom, setting it to none in the overrides. Okay, that's cleaned up them. And we want to turn off the bottom one for when it's open. So that accordion part looks like it's one thing. We're going to come over here, change the icon to up. Great, and now that arrow is telling you to click on it again to make it collapse. Okay, I didn't do this in my test file, but what would happen if we turn this into a nested symbol? Would it still behave? Would the sections still collapse? Let's take a look. I'm going to group this and rename it accordion/accordion group. Make a symbol out of that. Okay, let's go to the symbols page. Oh, we've got a duplicate content element. Let's try to delete it. Okay, Sketch does that sometimes. Before we see what that nested symbol has done, let's go back into it. Select the top one, turn these back on. Select the top one. Select the top one again. Okay, now let's try to delete it and see if that worked. Yep. Okay, we can move this in or even back down to our artboard. Let's zoom out, turn on our guides, and place this there. Okay, with these all turned on, maybe that's how it's going to work. Let's go resize to fit. There's a lot of lines there, so let's turn them all off. Okay, is this going to work? Let's go and take a look. Okay, in the overrides, let's set this to none. Wow, it does work, fantastic. It's going to go back, set this to none, this one, and the bottom one. What happens if you resize it? Yeah, it gets a bit squashy. So let's set some resizing for this. Let's clean this up, get rid of that. Select all of them. Resize left, right, and top with fixed height. Now let's go back. There you go, that's fixed it. And if you have it set to something like 310, and you turn one of them back on, you can simply drag this to reveal it again. Okay, I'm going to turn that one back off. And in the overrides, it's getting hard to know what you're doing, so let's go back into it. I'm going to change this to item 1. Item 2. Item 3. Item 4. Then content 1. Let's give these items spaces as well. Content 2. Content 3. And content 4. It's going to help us out a bit. Actually, let's move this over here. So now we've got a whole artboard just for accordions. So forget about what I said in the beginning. It's got a home of its own. Turn these off. Okay, that's better. So content 1 is open. Let's turn it off. And we've got borders for all of them still. Let's reset the arrow to down, and there we go. Go down to preview and commit in the abstract toolbar. Type in accordion, done. Commit changes on the bottom right. Go to the top right and select merge branch, and then merge and archive. Okay, that's worked, and we can see that we've got some extra artboards and symbols. And that's it for this part. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.